Hello, welcome to the Propelling Business Excellence podcast. Today I'm very excited. We have Aman Thakral. Is that correct, Aman?
That's right.
Joining from Target Integration. He is the co founder of Target Integration. So, very excited to have you, Aman. Why don't you give us an introduction about how you got started with Target and give us some background of, how you got started and where you're located today?
Thank you so much. So, Vibha and listeners, thank you so much for joining. Vibha, thank you so much for this interview. My name is Aman Thakral. I'm representing Target Integration. We guys are CRM and ERP matchmakers. What we do is we help businesses find out a right CRM product depending upon their current needs, current technology stack, their vision, their 5-year plan, the team strength they have, and what kind of things they want to achieve. So depending upon their requirements, we choose them a right CRM product. There are 700,000 CRMs in the market. Uh,
Yes.
Not all of them that we have. We use
Yes.
25 odd CRM products. So depending
Yes.
upon what kind of requirements they have, we find out a CRM for them, and then we implement, customize, automate, integrate, do all those services around us. So we are very specific on CRMs and ERP tools. And if in case somebody has burned their hands in an existing CRM system, we do come in place and make sure that they have now pleasant an experience around us.
And what size customers do you help out?
Because of the team strength, we are happy to take any size of customers starting from 0 to 100,000 to 100,000 employee companies. We have team divided into mid-market, small, and large enterprise. So if you're
Okay.
a large enterprise, our large enterprise team would come and interact with you. Whereas if you are a mid-market, there'll be a mid-market team who are specialists about mid-market, and so goes for small and micro businesses. So depending upon what kind of business you are and what kind of objectives you want your CRM or ERP tools to achieve, our specific team who's expert, who's been doing it for years and years would come into picture and help you.
I know you and I know what a CRM tool is, but could you explain in a layman term for somebody who doesn't know what is a CRM tool? What is
With
it?
pleasure, with pleasure. So
Okay.
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management and
Yes.
ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It's a software tool used by businesses to automate their business process. So if you are a manufacturing company where you want to take care of your bill of material, production, warehouses, inventory, you would go more towards ERP systems. Some of the commonly known ERP systems, Odoo, SAP, Microsoft Navision, and so many of them. But if you are more trader, service provider, you would go towards a CRM system, which is more towards tools like Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, Go High Level, Vrino. So these tools are very focused towards managing your customer data, your complaints, project management. If you want, they also have accounting tools. If not, you can get integrated with QuickBooks. Either way.
Mhm. Okay. That's great. And what inspired you to start your journey? Could you start from like how you were, I think you were mentioning you were in the job, you did your MBA, and then how did you found this target integration?
I did not. My eldest brother did. He's based out of Ireland, so he takes care of, as a company, we have 4 countries that we cover: Ireland, UK, India, and US. He takes care of Ireland and UK operations, whereas I take care of US and India operations. I never wanted to do a job. To a surprise, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur at all. Back in my master's, I always wanted to have a job 9 to 6 where I fly from one part of the city to another part of city in a chauffeur-driven car and then into a private jet or probably in a business
Oh
class.
yeah. Love that.
Yeah, but then realized that it was becoming slowly, gradually monotonous for me. But then my brother came with an idea to make sure that he starts India operations, and I initially never wanted to. I never thought I'm the right fit for the job. But just like how Indian families are, I didn't want to say to somebody who's like father figure. And here I am. I tasted the blood. I realized this is enjoy. It showed me different sides of it. It was way different than a monotonous job. Every day is a job where you do not know what you're gonna do next. And 2012 was the year when I joined them. After joining Target Integration in 2012 in India, it took me some time to learn the game, learn how business is. I probably started loving it. I think today when I look back, I think It's one of the best decision of my life. Whatever I am today as an individual has a lot to do with what I have done in that phase of joining target integration and then learning how the business happens, how people behave. It's it's eventually a game of managing people. And if you can
Hmm.
learn it through art and science combination, it always works
Yes.
fine.
Yeah.
Great journey overall.
Right. So I know you mentioned that you have now offices in 4 different countries and you're planning to extend to how many more?
Sky's the limit. I mean, not really, but
Let's say
no
within one
matter how
year.
many countries they have, eventually we look at services business as a very personalized behavior. If you look at from the word service, it anyway meant about serving somebody the way they want.
Hmm.
And we do not want to have one sauce or one ketchup for every dish. We want to make sure that whomsoever we are serving to have their own personalized way, the way they like it. It's custom built for them. So we would keep on expanding ourselves to each country, each city, either through a franchisee network or through a business owned network. That's still something that we are debating internally. As of now, we have had all the businesses in a business owned manner, but probably in future we go towards a franchisee method to make sure every city of the country can get some kind of target integration or a CRM based business.
What's your immediate goal within like 1 to 2 years? Where do you want to expand?
So we are planning to move towards Mexico, Canada, and mostly non-English speaking countries. We look at this as an objective where globally people do not look at them,
Hmm?
and a lot of companies look at English speaking countries. We've realized that non-English speaking countries also look for these services, but they want some native speaker. We do not see it just in country, we also see it in countries like India where they have multiple languages.
Right.
So CRMs are very personalized, or ERPs are very personalized. Eventually, the top of the hierarchy, a business owner will buy the product, but the data feeders or the people who would enter the data is the end people who are local to that sales team or a service team or a project manager. If they do not understand the product well, if they do not understand how the product moves, what is the soul of the product, they would never enjoy it. And to
Right.
make sure we offer them a personalized services, we are going towards countries like Mexico, Southern America to make sure that we speak their language and teach them the CRM.
Why these countries?
Less competition. Everybody looks towards Western countries and focus towards English speaking countries, whereas I want to focus towards countries where people do not look at.
So you will
Uh,
have less competition and you can grow significantly.
Absolutely.
That's an excellent strategy of business growth.
Yeah. No, I once heard, and I won't quote it, but I once heard Philip Kotler in one of his TV interview where the interviewer asked them, "What would be your advice to bidding entrepreneurs or smaller
Mhm.
entrepreneurs?" Because bigger entrepreneurs anyway have budgets or bigger budgets for PPC marketing or something like that. The gentleman, and I really follow him, he turned back and said, "Do not look at the pie or part of the pie which people are eating. Look at the part of the pie which nobody is eating." I
Yeah.
look at non-English speaking countries as the part of pie which not everybody is focusing on. And if we can make our mark, we probably would have exponential growth.
Yes, I think that's a great strategy. We teach that as well in our business coaching. Who are your non-customers? Can they become your big customers? Very, very, very smart way of thinking about it. Great job on that, Aman. So, what are some misconceptions about running a business?
I think the biggest misconception that people feel in these days is start your business and tomorrow you are roaming around in a private jet. It doesn't happen that way. Look at my hair. I lost them in building a
Still
business.
have hair.
Right, some. No, I think how I look at business, I think business is long shot. You should not ideally look at them as a game of valuation process. I think there are two kind of entrepreneurs, one who are making business for generations and somebody who's making business for small while. I'm not here to criticize any of the strategies. I think my strategy would be to make it for generations. So the biggest misconception that I look at people is they think it's gonna be very classy. You will wear best suits. You will have best photo, which is
Maybe
not.
outside.
Yeah, yeah. But that's absolutely not the story. You have to work your dash off and make sure that you work very strongly. But there are few things that you always need to be make sure of. There'll be thousands reasons to give up, but you find one reason not to. And I think the biggest misconception that people feel in their business is that they will do everything that they will get. Initially may work because you want to pay bills, but as soon as you can get, please look for your niche because that's where you can stand different than other competitors, whether you're a service provider or a product provider. It is very important to find your niche to make sure when customers look at you in that particular category, they know you're the best, which could be about localization, which could be about CRMs, which could be about making sure you are the best fine dining experience provider, or you
Mm-hmm.
are the best phone, which gives me a brand value. So I think if you can find your niche, you can manage your business pretty well. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, everything that you see on Instagram, social media, that in 5 days you can be a billionaire. My question is why the person who's making a Instagram reel is not a billionaire.
Yeah. So, and I met you. I know you're a very calm person. And how you're maintaining your work-life balance? I mean, you have grown the business so much. So, tell me one thing. Like, how much have you grown the business? Right? You started back. You said in 2012, correct?
Right. So
And
the
now it's
company,
2024. 12 years down. How much have you grown? Tell us more.
I think so the company started in 2008 in Ireland. We're an Irish entity. From
Mm-hmm.
Ireland, we grew to India, then to UK, and then US. Beat Ireland or beat India, we were in a garage, find our
Like everybody else.
yeah, just like anybody else. We were finding our ways to make sure how we pay bills. All my savings from the job was burnt. But since then, we were zero, and now we are around a $9 million year-on-year company where we are finding best ways to make sure that we serve around 140 to 150 employees across all these different geographies. We have invested in five different companies who are run by different people. We are a primary investor in those companies.
That's great. And then how do you maintain your work-life balance? You have hundreds of employees here.
I would say initially you need to make sure that you really work hard, get your midnight oil burnt as much as you can. But slowly, gradually, I learned that I'm not growing younger, I'm growing older. And I have made some of the disciplines, such as make sure that I wake up early in the morning. Even today, I wake up 4:30 in the morning each
Oh,
day
wow.
to make
Hmm.
sure that I have enough amount of day for me to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's when mostly people are sleeping and nobody's doing any other activity. So you can always.
Wow.
I am currently based in Northern America. I'm in San Jose. So it starts shining very early, and I do not like to go out in sun much. So I make sure I start my day early, finish my day early, go for a walk, or start playing some tennis. I love tennis. Those who have been listening to my podcast since long would know in 2019 I started playing tennis and I fell in love since then. Roger Federer has always been my favorite. I probably started watching tennis because of him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and I think tennis, walk, pickleball. I make sure I'm always around sports. I like gym, but I always feel the gym will bring me back to my thoughts because you always take those breaks. Whereas when you are playing sports, you do not. So, few
Mm-hmm.
disciplines: wake up early, never work on Sundays, no matter what, play activities, and the most important part, delegation of work. I think if you have a good delegation of work set up, you have a team who's covering you. It's all because of team. I think I'm able to manage things. So you have to spend time to train them, answer their queries, and over a period of time, make sure that if you are going beyond a certain point, you can pass the work to your team.
Right. Yeah, I think that's where majority of my clients are struggling to. They are not able to, even to the extent that they want to even schedule their appointments on their own.
Yeah.
So that becomes a challenge, right? So effective delegation is something that definitely we teach as well, and it's very, very critical for business growth. So, what percent would you say do you spend your time on strategizing your business versus doing the real work?
Well, I think it varies from country to country. For example, as of today, I handle two countries. In India, I do not have any customer facing role anymore for myself. It's all been done by my team. So for India operations, 99% I spend on managing strategies and so on and so forth. US is still younger operations. We are still 6 years old.
Okay.
Uh, I think 10% of my day goes in managing US based customers, some key accounts, but 90% is strategy, planning, making sure checks and balances are in place to run the business well,
Okay. So 90% is what? Strategizing your work or doing the real work?
strategizing. I mean, both
Okay.
are real work. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, no, no. I mean, there are different ways, right? I mean, there is implementation is the real work, right? Implementing the CRM is the real work. But when I say strategizing, means strategizing on the growth, focusing on the growth.
Yeah, I do not implement. I mean, it's all thanks to my team. They're amazing.
Okay.
They are team members who are with us since 10 years, 9 years, 8 years. All because of them, I think I'm able to spend more time in strategizing things and looking
Okay.
towards growth. I do not implement any of the CRMs anymore.
Okay.
But
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I
uh,
think that's what is needed more in the businesses. If they're
otherwise,
looking for the growth, I think even for the other companies, if they're looking for a significant growth, just like you have, they really, really, really need to focus on
choice when you
spending
become
time.
an entrepreneur, whether you want to be self-employed or you want to be a business owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's where
And
you come into picture. You talk about how not to be self-employed.
well, yeah, if you want to talk about doubling your revenues or profits, Aman, we can talk about that in another session. We will not talk about another 12 years. We'll talk about next year.
For sure.
All right. So spotlight back on you now. So could you offer a glimpse into what does that next 1 to 3 year look like for you?
Like mentioned, we're gonna focus towards going to newer countries. Localization is a technique. We
Yes.
always make sure that we focus on global approach, but serving them locally. I look at McDonald's recipe as a great example. They have multiple offices, they have multiple places, they sell burgers, but they make sure they personalize the burger depending upon what country they're serving in, what kind of taste bud these guys have whom they're serving at. So globalization in next couple of years, we'll keep on following our strategy and expand ourselves into non-English speaking countries like Mexico, and then Canada is something which is English speaking, but half and half that we see of French being used. We're gonna look at Canada and Mexico in next 1 2 years.
Okay. And what obstacles do you think you will encounter there?
I think resources. I'm a very strong believer of a fact where skill can be taught, where attitude, discipline cannot.
Hmm.
So we always make sure that we find resources who are with us, who are looking for a longer picture, who understand what kind of impact we leave on a customer when we start working for them,
Yeah.
what's on stake for the customer. If we find a
Right.
team who values what's we gonna deliver for the customer, that's the best people we want in our team. And finding those resources is hard.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. And how do you stay adaptable and open to innovation?
I think I'm a very firm believer of a fact that if you do not evolve and update yourself with technology coming from an IT background, you will be left behind without a doubt. No
Mhm.
question, you will be a company of past if you do not update. We always make sure that we bring technology and new tools in our system to serve our customers well. For example, in our current team, marketing team is using a lot of AI to generate content. Earlier, we used to take 4 hours to write organic 500 word article. Now we use AI to generate a tool,
Okay.
generate a write up, and then we give it to human to personalize it and make sure it is
Right.
paraphrased in a well manner so that Google and SEO can see it has no plagiarism. It has humanly written tool. This way, we are reducing the time. Again, like I'm trying to burst the myth. AI will not take away the jobs. AI will just make people more effective.
Effective. Yeah.
So I think
That's great.
we make sure that those AIs and those technologies are always in place. And I think processes is a huge part. We are trying to go to a root possible level where we can make a recipe of how to implement a particular CRM. So if you go for a CRM, let's say HubSpot versus a
Mhm.
CRM called Pipedrive, they both have different features and different
Right.
working style. So we want to make a recipe for implementing HubSpot perfectly. We want to make a recipe for implementing Pipedrive perfectly. The next time when we hire a resource, we can say, you just need to follow the recipe. And making sure that recipes being tested, checked by these tools are very important.
Yeah. So you have the systems and processes. So you're effectively delegating, maintaining your own work-life balance, also keeping the employees happy, and also expanding your business.
Absolutely. Learn from people like you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I guess in terms of one last advice here, what advice would you offer to the aspiring entrepreneurs who are planning to start their business or who are experiencing challenges? Like you have significantly grown your business in 4 different countries, and again, you're trying to expand further. I think you have some very smart ways you explained already. Give us those nutshell of this whole podcast in 3 pointers.
I would highly recommend that you have to do a lot of introspection for before you start getting into a mode of entrepreneurship. If you're going towards that, the answer of every question lies within instead of outside.
Mhm.
So one, you need to know your own strengths. Do your own SWOT analysis. Come out what do you do the best. Then find out what people need the most. This could be very basic stuff such as, oh, for example, what we found that people love to implement CRM, but they want CRM implementation done in their premises or around their premises in their own language. So even today, if you go and visit our YouTube page, you will see the high, we have 95K views on CRM demo done in a regional language of a country.
Oh, wow. Compared
So
to the
you have
English
to
one.
find out such niches and figure out
Uh-huh.
which direction that people are moving in. And it's all about guessing, trying, guessing. As an
Right,
entrepreneur, you would fall, but if you do
right,
not give up, find your niche, look at the smaller part of pie which nobody is eating, and you would not realize how soon that small part of pie will become a bigger part of pie.
right. And you mentioned systems and
Oh,
processes
100%.
for
I think
effective delegation.
you have to have it. If you
Okay,
do not bring systems in place, then you can never replicate yourself. As
right.
a business owner, your objective is not to just run business, but to run business without you. And for that, you need system and places. And make sure there's a transparency maintained with employees. They know how much they are making, how much customer is paying, what's the company revenue, and as much as clarity that you can bring on the table, the more growth that you can bring to your business without you.
Excellent.
And without you is the keyword.
Yes, yes. Excellent. Thank you very much. This was a really great podcast. I really enjoyed the conversation. And is there anything else you want to add?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, Vibha. It's such a pleasure. I think I love the way you ask questions. They are very thoughtful questions. I'm sure your viewers love you. And I really enjoyed being here.
They love you more than me, but thank you very much again, Aman, and look forward to connecting.